whole Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen situation just got even more bizarre, and really, like, the whole thing start to finish, from rumors and leaks up to the official announcement last night, this whole thing is so weird. And in particular, there's one new piece of information that we just got that it's actually crazy. Like, I don't understand what is happening here, so let's talk about it. Okay, first of all, if you guys missed my video about this topic, there were leaks and rumors last week that Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen would be coming to the Nintendo Switch and or Switch 2. Okay, and as of last night, we got official confirmation that this is real. Okay, most of what was leaked actually was real. The only thing that's a little bit off was the price point of $20, and trust me, we will be talking about the price point of $20. And in my last video talking about this topic, I was extremely fair. I gave all the reasons why people are excited about this, and I gave all the reasons why people are very critical about this. And even still, even with me being nuanced and honest and truthful and laying everything out for people, I still had Pokemon fanboys leaving dislikes on that video. It makes no sense. It's completely irrational. So please, if you guys want to help me fight off the Pokemon fanboys, if you appreciate just the raw truth, reality, and nuanced discussion, please leave a like down below. Okay, anyway, we'll do a deep dive into the price in a minute, but I thought after recording my last video, I was like, man, maybe I was a little bit too harsh on the price, because remember, the rumor was $30. Now we see it's 20, but nope, it seems like a lot of people are not happy about the $20 price point. Okay, we see this article came out this morning. Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen coming to Switch February 27th for a gross price. The 22-year-old Game Boy Advance games are yours for a mere $20 each this Pokemon Day. The rumors were true, as anticipated by Pokemon leaker Coup. Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen, the Game Boy Advance remakes of the originals, are coming to Switch and Switch 2 next week. They go on to say the arrival of these two 22-year-old versions of a 30-year-old game as a paid download and not as new entries in the GBA section of Nintendo's online subscription package is a bizarre and pretty shocking choice. Some might say a mercenary one. There surely was the potential that they could have made available for free to celebrate the franchise's 30th birthday, and given how ancient they are and how appropriate it would be, that's obviously not happening. It's Nintendo. If your uncle worked for Nintendo, he'd charge you for those imaginary leaks. So yeah, astonishingly, the company has the complete gall to charge $20 for each, and it won't even support online features. Now, the article goes on to say, ew, what a horrid taste that leaves in my mouth. The Game Boy Advance versions of these two games had sold a combined total of 11.82 million copies in their first 4 years on sale. That's over $400 million. They kind of made their money back. Nintendo could so easily celebrate this huge anniversary by having these be available for free, or at least a couple of bucks, gain so much goodwill, and get nostalgic players hyped for Pokemon again ahead of the release of the new game this winter. God, $20 and look, I'm not even this critical, and everyone calls me just a hater and a Switch 2 hater and a Pokemon hater and all this stuff. That's obviously not true, right? Those people never make it past the title and thumbnail, so they don't know what the heck's going on in these videos. They were just told to not like me by some Nintendo influencer who has their pockets lined by affiliate links and who benefits from access journalism. Meanwhile, I'm over here just saying the truth, doing whatever I want. But anyway, even I am not this negative, right? Because I don't expect things for free, right? Like, would it be nice? Of course, especially in these trying times when consumers are super price sensitive and there's a lot of negative publicity going on right now for Pokemon and Nintendo. Would it make sense for them to do it for free and gain a ton of goodwill? Sure, right? But even I thought that would, I mean, I don't expect things for free, okay? But like putting it on the subscription service you're already charging people for, that's kind of like an expectation, right? Nintendo set that expectation, not the customer, right? I didn't just decide that. They said that. They said, this is how you can play your old Game Boy Advance games on the Switch and Switch 2. Here you go, right? And like now players are getting blamed for getting mad about this. It's like, no, that is what they said. That was the expectation they set for their players. So the fact that they are now charging extra for what is easily in the most popular Game Boy Advance games that are going to come to the Switch and Switch 2, it leaves a sour taste in people's mouths, right? Now look, I know some people are against subscription models and they want to just buy something and pay for it. And I totally understand that, but let's come back to reality here for a second and understand that these are digital products. They quite literally could do both. There is literally nothing. They're setting their own rules. Okay, there is no scarcity here. There's no production here. They're not printing these things on cartridges, which we're going to talk about that later, because that's crazy. There is a physical release coming. My mind is blown. Okay, but let's talk about this. This is digital ones and zeros. Okay, they could say, hey, if you're a part of the subscription service, great news, stay subscribed because FireRed and LeafGreen are coming, right? Amazing. And for those of you that aren't subscribed, great news, you can buy them for 20 bucks and then you don't have to commit to a subscription. Like, there is literally no downside to them doing that. These are not mutually exclusive things. It's a digital product. You can do both. You can appease everybody. And by the way, if they put it on the subscription service, they'd still make money from new people subscribing to Nintendo Switch Online. Okay, so like that whole thing is crazy, right? But we all know that them charging $20 for this is purely because they know that everyone who's already subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online is not going to cancel it over this, but they will probably buy this, right? Like, these games are popular enough that they're probably more popular than the entire Game Boy Advance catalog, so they can get away with charging money here. Now look, I'm very honest with you guys. All right, so let's talk about this price point, okay? Because the argument that people have been making online defending this price point is that Pokemon Fire Red right now is actually $140 on eBay, which I'm hoping this price drops now that this is coming to the Switch Online. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it coming to the Switch is going to make it even more popular and people are going to want to buy it, but we'll have to wait and see. But the argument here is like, okay, if you want to play Fire Red on official hardware right now, you have to spend $140, $20 as a steal, right? And it's like, look, this is not apples to apples. I mean, what are we talking about? One of them is a physical cartridge that is no longer in production, so it is literally something people collect, whereas this is a license agreement that can be taken away from you at any time, which is not hypothetical. It has already happened. That is not coming down the pipeline. That is the reality we live in. For example, take a look at The Crew. Okay, try to go play The Crew right now and tell me more about how digital ownership exists. It doesn't. So they're not apples to apples. But look, to the average consumer, they are. To the average consumer, it's just 20 bucks to play Fire Red versus 140 to play Fire Red on an old piece of hardware. Okay, fair enough. But here's the thing, Nintendo themselves have already charged for digital downloads of Game Boy Advance games on the Wii U, and back then they charged between $7 and $8 for Game Boy Advance games. Okay, so Nintendo themselves have already set the expectation that Game Boy Advance games are in this price range. And if you look at this and say, okay, well, if you remember on the 3DS, they released Red, Blue and Yellow for 10 bucks, so like that's already higher than this. So it's like, okay, fine, charge 10 bucks for it, right? But no, they went with 20. And even back in 2014, people were complaining about the price of Game Boy Advance games because they thought that $7 or $8 was too expensive for Game Boy Advance games, right? Like, people either agreed that it was too expensive or they said, yeah, $7 or $8 that's about fair. Okay, so all right, so we've decided that $7 or $8 is fair for Game Boy Advance games, and we've decided that $10 is fair for Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow. So okay, let's just add those together and add $2 on top of it, I guess. Is that how they arrived at this price? I don't know, but here's the thing, it's gonna sell like crazy. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. And like, let me just be abundantly clear here, okay? If you want to play this on your Switch or Switch 2, I'm not telling you to boycott it. Buy it if you want to play. Like, that's the thing about these videos, right? People think I'm trying to tell them what to do. Like, sure, vote for your wallet if you feel passionate about something, 100%, right? But life is too short and we're talking about video games, so it's not that big of a deal. If you want to buy this, buy it, play it, have fun with it. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but I do think it is justified to at least criticize or question the business practice here, because we're not actually getting anything better with this release. Okay, now again, there is a physical release of this coming and we're going to talk about that in just a second, but here's what's even more crazy about this. Okay, this is the English version, and you might think, okay, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, let's go scroll down to the bottom here and we'll figure out why. This is the English version of the game because this version replicates the way the game was originally released. Each language version is separate and there are no in-game options to change the language. Please verify the language of the game before completing your purchase. Okay, so literally what they've done is basically just put the ROM on the Switch. That's all this is. This is not an enhanced version. They didn't fix anything, they didn't patch anything, they didn't improve anything, they didn't even bother to add in a language selector. Okay, this is actually just the ROM. They just took the ROM and charged you $20 for it. Like that's the part that I think people are mad about, because you've been able to get these ROMs easily for like 15 years now or more. I'm sure tons of you watching already have these ROMs on your phone or on your computer, and I'm not recommending you do that, by the way. All right, I'm not telling you to commit piracy, but I'm just saying the fact of the matter is that everyone's probably played these games on a ROM already. And so Nintendo, if they're going to charge 20 bucks for it, you would think, okay, well, at least like improve it a little bit. But no, they just copy and pasted it. But here's the cool part about that. That means the game corner is probably going to be here, right? For those of you that don't know, okay, the game corner was removed from a lot of different Pokemon games because of gambling laws, rules, regulations, whatever. Okay, they just didn't want anything that was gambling adjacent in a children's game, and so they removed it from future Pokemon games. But obviously that all happened after the Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen released. So if they're just gonna lazily copy and paste the ROM, then that means we're probably getting the game corner again on modern hardware, which is pretty cool, right? Anyway, seeing this screenshot of One Island just reminded me that they have the audacity. Check this out, right? This digital exclusive contains the Sevi Islands, where even more Pokemon await. They have the audacity to advertise the Sevi Islands as like, oh dude, the Sevi Islands, what? It's like, that's not new content, that was in the games originally. Here's what I hope happens though, and I will make a whole video about this, apologizing to Pokemon if they do this. Okay, if this game comes out and we get to the Sevi Islands and there's new Pokemon there, I'm talking Pokemon from Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6, if they actually put new Pokemon on the Sevi Islands, I will make an entire video apologizing to Pokemon for this take right here. But as it stands, they're advertising the Sevi Islands like something new, even though they've been in the game, the original game. Okay, and I think that's part of the reason why people are upset about the $20 price tag. It's just a copy and pasted ROM. Now it will have home support eventually, apparently, but it looks like it doesn't have actual online capability, right? Switch players can also link up with friends via local co-op without needing to use a game link cable like you did in 2004. Nintendo, Pokemon Company, what are you doing? This is such a missed opportunity, bro. Can you imagine the competitive scene for this game? That would have been absolutely incredible. Why is there not online capabilities for this? Like, what? They actually just copy and pasted it. They literally just copy and paste. It's crazy. Now I could have sworn that I read somewhere that they confirmed Pokemon home support. I'm not seeing it on the page here, so maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm pretty sure it has Pokemon home support. I mean, if it doesn't have that, then that's really lazy. Then they really just copy and pasted it. But before we talk about the physical versions of these games, okay, let me just say one last good thing about this. At least Nintendo didn't do the scumbag thing and make this a Switch 2 exclusive, because everyone was holding their breath waiting to see if Nintendo was going to be the biggest scumbag imaginable and locking Game Boy Advance games to a $500 brand new console just to move more units. I said in my last video that that wouldn't make any business sense because they want to sell as many of these as possible, so I figured that wouldn't happen. But at least, I mean, that's how low the bar is, right? Like, that's how low the bar is for Nintendo. At least they're not 100% scumbags. They're only 98% there. Like, they're right there. They just barely missed the mark. Okay, but remember earlier when I said this whole thing is just bizarre, right? Like, why is this getting announced today? Like, of all days, the original Legend of Zelda came out February 21st, 1986. This is the 40th year anniversary of Zelda, and we're announcing 22-year-old Pokemon games a week before the Pokemon Day, which is like, why would you reveal something so exciting a week before your big announcement? It's like throwing a wet blanket on the fire. Like, that's supposed to work. Like, the hype is supposed to build, and then Pokemon Day, and it's like, well, one of your biggest announcements of that entire day is now not news because we know about it. Maybe the leaks forced their hand. Maybe the leaks and rumors got so crazy that they were forced to reveal this, and so they had to put it up for pre-order. And by the way, my girlfriend asked me, this was so cute, right? She was like, oh, she told me that these games like were announced, right? And so I went online and I saw that they were available for pre-order, and she goes, oh, what do you get for pre-ordering them? And I was like, nothing. No, Pokemon, Nintendo, they don't care. No, they don't care about you. This is a digital game from 22 years ago. The fact that there's even a pre-order is stupid, because look at this. This lets you preload the game so you'll be able to play as soon as it's released. Buddy, it's 40 megabytes. Who needs to preload 40 megabytes? There's literally no function or purpose for pre-ordering doing this at all, except just to tell Pokemon how much money they're gonna make next week, that there's literally no objectively good reason to buy this game right now. It's actually just dumb. And to be fair, they should do a pre-order bonus. At least do a pre-order bonus. I mean, you're literally just copy and pasting the ROM. Give us something cool, right? Like, oh yeah, if you pre-order, you get the Deoxys special event or something. Like, if you're gonna be lazy with the game, at least give us a reason to get excited and pre-order it. Like, my god, dude. Yes, pre-order this 22-year-old game that's 40 megabytes so you can play it the moment it comes out. And by the way, this is the last thing I'll say about the price, but $20 for Fire Red or $20 for Silk Song. It's like, what are we doing, man? This is really, this is gaming in 2026. Like, this is crazy, bro. And then these big game companies like Nintendo, they wonder why so many indie games or indie adjacent games, AA studios, why they've been popping off in the last, 24 months. It's like, because they're not scamming their customers on every single turn. They're just giving good value, period, right? Like, that's the part that's so, like, just make games for gamers and charge a fair price. Like, business 101, business 101, business 101. I'm going crazy here, man. So now let's talk about the physical edition, because yes, this was officially revealed today. A luxurious special edition is also available. This is, by the way, this is the official Pokemon Japanese website. Okay, so this, I know this looks a little sketchy, but that's because this is translated from Japanese. We will introduce the contents of the luxurious special edition, which includes packaging that reproduces the design from when it was first released and a glass Pokeball object. So we have the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green game cases. These are actual like Switch game cases for Fire Red and Leaf Green, and they look incredible, right? And even though the artwork is turned, I kind of like it because it gives us more space to see the artwork. It looks kind of retro. They redid the background design. I think it looks good. I think this looks great. In fact, I love this. And then we have a glass Pokeball object. These special Pokeball objects feature 3D laser engravings of the 3 traveling partners you can meet in the Kanto region. By placing them in a special case with a base and acrylic plate, you can display all 3 side by side. By flipping the switch on the base, they will light up. So you get all 3 of these, and it comes in this really cool 30th anniversary case. Okay, it's a special case. It's got Charizard and Venusaur on it. It's all embossed, foil stamped. It looks fantastic. Okay, I mean, I'm a millennial, I'm a dork, I'm a Pokemon fan, but here's the thing, okay, and this is where I'm like, I swear to God, I'm losing my mind. The only difference between the special editions is the download card. So wait a minute, you went through all the work to make a special case with acrylic Pokeballs, a base, and game cases, and there's not an actual cartridge. What are you doing? What are you doing? How? Why? What is the whole, why are you doing this? What is the point of this? Okay, so the only difference here is the card in the box. All right, there's not even a cartridge. There's not a physical release. There's not a physical copy of the game. Okay, there's just a box full of plastic that looks really cool, and then inside is a download card for the game. Why are we making physical editions that don't physically have the game? What are you doing? It's 40 megabytes. You could probably fit that on a game key card. Like, I know we're in a weird memory crunch crisis right now, but 40 megabytes, Nintendo? What are you doing? This is crazy. I like, what are you, my mind is blown. My mind is actually blown. Okay, this is only available in Japan, and it's coming out on February 28th, Pokemon Center exclusive for 19,800 yen. This is like a little over $100, maybe 120. Yeah, right now this is 127 US dollars, which, like, you had me up until download code, right? Like, everything here looks great. The artwork looks fantastic. These Pokeballs look amazing. The case looks awesome. Like, this is, as a 30 something, this is exactly what I want. But then you're charging 125 bucks and the game's not even in there. It's a code. You can just download. Why? What the Oh my god. And the worst part, right, and this is what makes me think that Pokemon and Nintendo just hate their fans, it's a Japanese exclusive. Like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Like, are you actually just stupid? I'm trying to understand the logic here. Maybe what we're gonna learn on Pokemon Day is that this isn't a Japanese exclusive and that it's coming to the West. Surely, right? Surely they're not so stupid that they're going to leave that much money on the table, right? There's no way they're that dumb. I mean, come on, right? But Polygon's article covering this says that the special edition is not coming to the West. Okay, so as of the time of recording this, it seems like sources are saying we are not getting this in the West. So it is confirmed Pokemon is dumb enough to release this thing and just not sell it in the West. Like, are you, what? You can print money. Why would you not print money? What is wrong with you? Are you, like, someone needs to be fired? Like, it's like, this is again where like they do all these cool things, it's like right up and I'm getting excited, and then you drop the ball on the most basic principle. Put the game in the game case. Like, hello, am I drinking crazy juice? Like, what world are we in? What timeline did I slip into where we're selling physical copies with nothing in the case? It's a piece of cardboard, it's a download code, and then you're only selling it in Japan when you know that there's so many people in the West that would spend, even people would buy this for $200, right? I mean, people would scalp it, let's be real, but like, dude, just print enough of these. You can make so much money. It's like, look, Pokemon, okay, I will work for you, okay? Just reach out to me. My email's in the description. I will literally, I don't know who's making these decisions, but you need to fire them. I will work for you guys, probably for the same amount of money or less, okay? I will make the big decisions for you guys because clearly someone's messing up, they're not doing their job, and it's just at this point embarrassing, okay? And as somebody who loves Pokemon, I promise I will do the right thing. I will give the fans what they want because I am one. I know what the fans want, and like, you're so close, but you're just missing the mark just by a little bit every single time. And it's like, brother, what is wrong with you? Do you not want to make more money? Like, oh my god, dude. And this is why I said at the beginning of the video, this entire FireRed and LeafGreen situation is just bizarre. The situation is weird. It makes no sense. Honestly, what is going on? Who is making these choices? I have no idea. But like, look, like I said in my last video, this is exciting for one reason, okay? And that is that the Switch is finally after 8 years, almost 9 years, okay, we are finally seeing a good Pokemon game land on the Switch. Let's go. It only took almost a decade and we finally got there. You really just, you put it off till the final hour. I get it. You wanted to wait until things got really dire so you could print money. I get it, okay? And I had people ask me like, oh, what makes these games better than the Switch games? It's like, I don't know, let's just start with the fact that there's not a 2-hour tutorial that holds your hand like you're 4 years old. I played these games when I was like 9, okay? I didn't need a tutorial then. I don't need a tutorial now. Stop insulting our intelligence. Just let us play the damn game. These games also aren't bogged down by a half-baked story. It's a very simple experience. The reason Red, Blue, and Yellow, and by extension FireRed and LeafGreen, are so great, and I don't see anyone talking about this, and it's like, it's so obvious, right? The reason these games were so impactful is because the story was your story. It was your adventure. You're starting from nothing and you're becoming the champion, right? But all the modern games are like, oh, this villain is like, he's so evil. He's not that evil, don't worry. He's got like a motive, and it's fine. Bad things never happen in the Pokemon world, but like, he's a bad guy for right now, and like, let's have 4 hours of dialogue about it, and like, don't worry, the goal is friendship, and like, yay, we love friendship with your friends in Pokemon. And like, they try to tell this narrative without any voice acting and just horrible animations, and it's like, it's just stop. If you're gonna do that, just don't even have the story. Just make it about the player, make it about us. That's why we fell in love with Pokemon to begin with. It was our journey to collect 150. Why have we strayed so far from that vision, right? And on top of that, if you need another reason why these games are better than the trash on Switch, is because easy as they may be, they're still slightly more challenging than the Switch games, because the Switch games just tell you what moves are super effective and they make everything dumb easy. Like, yes, FireRed and LeafGreen are easy, okay, but the Switch titles are like brain leaking out of your ears easy. Like, you can't not beat these Switch games. Do you understand? Like, if these are a 2 out of 10 difficulty, the Switch games are a 0.5 out of 10 difficulty. You understand? So at least there's that. There's like the illusion of challenge challenge at least, right? Whereas the new games are like, you can literally just, I did this, oh my god, I did this with Scarlet and Violet. You can literally just, I was like 10 levels under leveled fighting the Elite Four because I just beelined it there because the game was garbage. And guess what? X defense, X defense, X special defense, X special defense, torch song, torch song, torch song, torch song. Okay, you can sweep. You can sweep. It doesn't matter. You could be 10 levels under leveled. That's all you need to do. You just need one Pokemon, right? And that's always been the case, but somehow it's even more so on the Switch, bro. So yes, FireRed and LeafGreen are going to be the best Pokemon games on Switch. It's not even close, and it's so sad, but it is the case. And like, I guess that's a good thing. I guess let's celebrate that at least. And let me just end on this note, okay? Again, like I said before, I'm not telling you what to do with your money, okay? The world's in a tough place right now, and if you find joy in these games, spend the money, all right? People are spending $300 on Genshin Impact. Like, a $20 download to play a game you played 20 years ago is like, is it crazy? Yes, but in the grand scheme of things, like, if it makes you happy, if you will get more than $20 worth of value out of it, then spend your money how you want. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but I am here to criticize Nintendo for things that just don't make sense to me. Anyway, guys, if you made it to the end of the video, consider dropping a thumbs up on it. It really does help out the channel a ton. And you might think you're subscribed to the channel because you've seen a ton of my videos, but you're actually not. Double check down below.